What's going on? We're back at it. It's July 9th. And as you can see, we have overcast conditions. We have a front coming in. And the wind's blowing from the southwest, more along the west. And we're just going to try to figure them out. And we're going to try to catch a big old fatty. So y'all come along. Right now I'm fishing the DT6 out here in a little bit deeper water with a sporadic retrieve, so we'll see if we can entice a bite. Let's go to some of these main areas. Just crank real quick. See if they want something super fast, or see if they want something slow. I'm sitting about 6 foot of water too, so I'm hitting bottom. You can feel it right now. Just grinding the bottom. Using a stop and go retrieve. Try to make really long casts. It helps you cover a lot more water to try to figure out a pattern. So try to cover as much water as you can when you're trying to figure out a pattern. There's one. I don't know how big it is. Decent one. Trying to fight it. Usually when they're hooked with a treble hook, I like to try to grab them with the net. Decent little guy to start off with. Right there he is. Let's weigh him out real quick. $185. Boom. Alright, so our first fish came on a reaction bait. I was fishing this DT6. Get back here. Right here. And I don't know if you can see this, but there is a long edge right here, or a long bank you can say. And right here in front of me, it actually comes out to a small little point. And when I was here the other day, with this point coming out far, it has a little pocket that's off to the right-hand side of that point. And the only way I know that is through my electronics, and then on top of that, throwing into those areas with dragging baits and feeling the contour lines. And so there's a small little pocket right here, and the wind is actually blowing over it. So with the point being here, there's a pocket on both sides of this bank right here. So I was going to target some of these real quick because of the wind blowing over it, and if they're staged up on there, you know, we might catch a couple good ones. So I was throwing this DT6 in that area, and I threw it in a couple different depth ranges just to kind of, you know, figure out where they are. And we caught that one right there. So I'm actually going to come back up this way because we drift down into the area that we kind of caught them. And I was fishing fairly quick, so that tells me that they may be eating or chasing those reaction type baits. And if we can go around the lake to our key locations, we may catch a couple good ones fishing these reaction style baits. Reaction style bait, crankbait, a lipless crankbait, a square bill, anything that you're moving kind of fast. And a lot of the times if you put that in front of a fish, they'll come out and get it, almost like a cat with a cat toy. When you bring a cat toy out and you start moving it real fast in front of a cat, well, let's say you're moving it slow, they might not want to play with it, but as soon as you start moving it super, super quick, they're more eager or more excited to chase after it and try to get it. And the bass are the same way. So fishing really, really fast sometimes will, create a bite just like that, a reaction style bite. So let's see if we can mimic it again. And my retrieve kind of makes the bait move different and wild too. So moving your bait, or I'm sorry, not moving your bait, but varying your retrieve will help with enticing that bite. Because if you fish it at one speed, they can ride up to it or swim by it or swim behind it. And, they may look at it and say, I don't want that. But if it's moving all around crazy, the way bass feel is with their mouth. They don't have hands, so they're going to try to put it in their mouth to see what it is. But if you have a consistent cadence and you're bringing that bait at the same speed, they can swim right up to it and they can kind of look at it. But when you vary your retrieve, you do this, and you might pull a couple times, let the bait float up. Oh, we have one right there. But you can entice or cause a reaction strike. I did run into something. So moving your bait, crazy, bringing back your retrieve real crazy may entice a bite. Bringing it fast, stop it, pump it a couple times, just bringing it so many different ways to where you're trying to make them react to it. Not eating it because they're hungry. They're just trying to check it out to see what it is. So move crazy. It might wear you down sometimes too, but it's the only way. Right there, see, just got one. Feels like a little one. As you can see, I was doing that stop and go retrieve. As soon as I stopped it, I felt him hit it. And let's see how he bit it. Well, let's see how he bit it. Got one hook in him, look. One hook. So he bit the back. So that tells me right there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So that tells me right there that he wasn't really trying to eat it. Because if they wanted that, they would have inhaled it. If they're hungry, they'll inhale it. If they're just chasing it, they'll eat that back treble hook most of the time. Sometimes when that happens, you have to change the color, change your retrieve. This is .77. So it's a small guy, but they're reacting to these reaction style baits. I'm gonna keep on drifting down this bank. There's another point over here off to the side. I'm gonna get up here a little bit closer. I'm gonna throw parallel. Now, what that allows me to do, that allows me to fish different ranges. All right, and what I mean by range, I mean depth range. So if I sit in the middle of this ledge, I can fish it up shallow, I can fish it mid-range, or I can fish it deep if I choose to. And that's all about figuring them out. If I keep throwing it out deep, and I'm getting bit, well, I know to keep on throwing deep. I don't need to throw shallow. So, throwing it out there, that's a mid-range type cast. And we're gonna vary the retrieve. We're gonna try to entice that bite. Like I said, sometimes you're gonna have to change that color up. If they're not eating it all the way, sometimes you just make one slight adjustment and they'll start devouring it. So I just pulled back up to the spot where we caught those two. And we're gonna try to hit it from a different angle. sometimes, changing your angles will help you catch some more fish. So if you're catching fish on one spot and you're fishing a certain angle, change your angle up a little bit and you may catch a couple more, or even try a different bait. This reel, I can reel it super, super fast, and it may seem like I'm reeling it too fast, but the gear ratio is only a 6:4 to 1 gear ratio. So I can burn this super, super fast, and it's probably going to be moving the same speed as a mid-7 or an upper-7 range reel. So I'm just moving it fast because it's a slower reel. So we're going to start coming down this way just a tad. We're going to start working this point right here in front of us. We're going to have to coast down a good bit, but I'm going to just kind of free fish real quick. Allow the wind to take us down that way. And you never know, free fishing is just kind of fishing until you get to a certain location. So I'm just gonna cast in whatever direction I would like, and the wind is actually drifting us down to this point that I want to fish. So you may even catch a really good suspended bass, or there might be a group of fish somewhere out here that you didn't see that you can go ahead and anchor out if you start catching them and keep fishing that same location. And as you may notice, I caught 2 fish real quick right there at that spot, and I didn't sit there and milk that spot. I threw there a couple more times, and if you don't get bit, you want to keep on moving. Keep on moving. And at each location you try to go to, there may be aggressive fish just like those 2. They were the aggressors. If there was a bunch of fish there, they were the ones that bit. And you can usually go to other locations and fish the same way and trigger those aggressive bass to go ahead and start feeding. So the one YouTube video that I posted was reaction baits for summertime bass. And I pulled up onto a really good location at the right time, and I started wearing them out. And I probably could have caught a lot more bass if I wasn't talking. I just got so excited and I just started talking and explaining kind of what I was doing, which I should have been catching and casting, catching and casting, catching and casting. And once the bite died off, I should have started talking to you guys. But I had a great day on that day. Super great day. I pulled up on a location and it was just lights out. Almost every other cast, or every cast, I was getting bit. And they were some giants. Like an 8-pounder, 7-pounder, 6-pounders, 5-pounders. It was just fun. And another reason why you want to fish quickly is because with these overcast conditions, bass have a tendency to be like all over the place. It's not like the sun out and they all need to kind of stage up in one area because the water's cooler or they got some shade. With the sun not being out, they're going to roam all over the place. So you want to try to hit all your good locations fairly quickly. Like I've been fishing this point right here for about 5 or 6 casts and I haven't got bit, so I need to probably go ahead and start moving. This point's really, really big too. So I can actually start working around this right side of this point and try to do something else. This actually comes around into a small little pocket right here, and sometimes fish will stage up on here. So this is actually a shallow flat. This is a ledge, and it goes back into another pocket. And sometimes this is a good location, especially with the wind pushing to it. Wind-blown banks during the summertime can help you out a lot. Still trying to find them. Just free fishing right now. Just covering some water. Hoping to snag one in the back. About 13 pounds. Crazy waves. Fish number 3. Playing fatty. I can see them out here in this deeper water, and as we went over on that far side, I saw them in deeper water too. So, a bunch of fish right here up underneath of us right now. So we're way out here in deeper water. Still in 7 to 8 foot of water. That one was out here deeper. I just have to come out here and just try to target them in a certain depth range. $4.49, not a bad one. Ain't the ones we're here for though. A lot of places are $4.49 or $4.50. Will go a long way in the tournament. You know how big they are in here? That little bad boy's a guppy. Some big old fish. What that guppy was. Here's one way. Little, but it's okay. Out here in deeper water through toward that point. Put them on the board real good. Anytime they're hooked on the outside like that, man, they fight so good because they're more water or aerodynamic in the water. They don't have to worry about swimming with their mouth open, so they're a lot harder to catch like that. And a lot of times you lose them. But we're fishing this point and we're really far out too, super far out. That's kind of where we're catching them. 224. From mama. Sweet. Little fat tubby. Alright, so with that lipless crankbait, we've been casting it for a long time and we caught 2 fish on it. So I don't know about you, but I know what's in my mind. Retie. I don't care if you don't feel anything on it. A lot of the times you won't feel or see a weak knot. When you cast this a lot of times and really, really hard to cast it really, really far, that knot will start to get really, really weak. And you want to take that off there. We want to increase our chances, not theirs. Tied it. Cut that line on. Now we're retying. And there was a huge brush pile out here, and there was some big old something, big old arches in that on the graph. So we may need to go up to it and try to catch some out of that. never tried this body armor? They got about like 35 flavors. I don't get like the low calorie one or the low sugar one. I get the regular one. While you're out here, you want all the sugar you can get and the electrolytes you can get. And man, there hasn't been a flavor I haven't liked. You want something good to drink while you're out here, man. Something that will hydrate you too. I look into those body armors. And those fish right there, we caught them way far off from that point. So this fish might be pushed out just a little bit further than usual, which is good to, free fish. If you're up there close, just kind of throw a free cast out here into some deeper water. And sometimes that will just help you locate those fish. Like, all right, maybe they're out there a little bit deeper and you can pull the boat out and anchor out in some deeper water. A lot of the times guys love to beat the bank. That's all they know. Come out here into some deeper water, try different techniques, and you get some giants. We're still moving it fast. Gear ratio is 7:3 to 1, so it's coming fast, especially when I'm going fast with the retrieve. Like I said in the beginning, it was an overcast day, and the bass are usually a little bit more sporadic, and they're all over the place. But then when the sun comes out, they'll usually stage on certain locations, because the sun will kind of wear them out. So with this sun coming out, it might help out a little bit with our main locations we want to catch bass at. But right now, we're just out here in some deep water off this point right here. Just cranking the lipless crankbait at 100 miles an hour. I've been seeing fish on the charts like crazy out here in this deeper water. Might be foul hooked. My drag wasn't set right, so I couldn't hook them right. Okay, we got a good one on. Oh, you're fishing that deeper water. It's coming to us. Couldn't get him. Guys, he was right in the freaking net. What happened? He was right in the net. He was worn out too. He was probably about 8 pounds. Yeah, well, that happens. That goes to show you, I don't catch all of my fish. I do make mistakes. And things happen. that right there, that's crazy. He was in the dip. I keep saying in, but he wasn't in it. He was on top of it. And then once the bait flew out, he was just sitting on the top of the water for a second. And I went to scoop him up again, and he was on the top of the net again, and he just didn't fall into my favor. We wanted him to go down into the net. Sounds like I need to invest in a bigger net. Okay? That might help. Alright, but anyway, the sun coming out. It was peeking out when we caught those two here, and it was out right here when we caught this, so that may tell us something that these big fish are about to turn on. And it is 12:59. It's a little bit past lunchtime. So if they ate early this morning or they ate last night, then they're going to get hungry again around this time. So be in your locations. But that right there, guys, that was probably 7 or 8 pounds for sure. 100% sure. Might have been mid-sevens. But definitely in the sevens. Jumping out of the water 40 million times. He look good. It might cold. Oh man, I think I caught him before. With that funky little lip. I swear I caught him before. $169. Get out of here. We got him right in the pocket. The mouth of this pocket. The wind's dying down just a tad bit. Just gonna make it a little bit more difficult to fish because it's gonna be super hot. But this right here is prime time in my mind. So we got 5 fish in the boat, and our bait is 449, and we've been fishing for 4 hours. So it's a tough day, but the conditions change, so we gotta go back through our technique and our approach, see what we're gonna do. Winds change direction. Still a lot of clouds, but as you can see, the sun's out. So we got to adapt to that change. Once that sun came out, we started catching them on this lipless crankbait, so this might be the ticket. do need a bigger net. So I know what I want to add sand.